for the following program. If you are easily triggered or offended, please exercise caution. Because the hosts really don't care. Warning, this show is not for children. And not for coworkers either. And yes, that includes you, Cindy. Look, I took a poll and we all don't care about your Herbalife supplements.
Good morning, everybody. Deacon likes the intro.
Hey, what's up? I like the intro music. It's pretty hip. It's pretty radical. That's what the kids are saying these days, right? Radical, dude.
You know, we get all kinds of compliments on our show, like you guys are so hip and young and awesome. And
that's what they say. You two dads are pretty hip. You know, you're pretty with it.
Yeah.
That's not even the right word. My daughter would be giving me the "you are stupid" look right now. Hello.
My kids are only 4 and 5, and already I get this kind of like side eye stuff sometimes. Like,
isn't it great?
Really?
Isn't it great?
Really? And I know, and they're Latinas, so
you weren't getting that look yesterday, were you? You were getting the "Daddy, I'm sick" look. Please take care of me. Look,
oh my gosh, Darren. Yeah, so we didn't have a show yesterday because my little girl is sick. First of all, those little thermometer things you do across your head and your ear, take that, throw that shit in the trash. It don't work. It's not a good thermometer. We all bought those because COVID or whatever. Those thermometers are shit. My thermometer
buying a lot of stuff with COVID.
Yeah, I know. It's one more piece of bullshit. So that little thing kept saying my daughter had a 98, 99 temperature. And I was like, a little warm, but that's according to the meter. But I would pick her up and hold her, and she was radiating heat. And I was like, this isn't right. And, of course, she was like a little puny. So yesterday, instead of doing the show, I took her to the doctor. And we had to do we did an examination. Nothing was wrong. That was the weirdest thing. Her ears are not inflamed. Her nose is not inflamed. She's not draining. She's not coughing. She's not none of that stuff, right? But she's hot. She's hot, and we couldn't figure out why. So the doctor, and she's only 4. So the doctor did a blood draw. They did a blood draw, and she had never done that before. So it was a little, but she was brave. So her temperature's 103, and I give her a little Tylenol, and her temperature comes down, and then she's like,
"It's getting too hot for kids. It's getting too hot for anybody, but especially kids." 103. That's very, very.
It's very hot. It's not good.
That's very concernable.
It would bring down, and then she would be like, "I feel great," and want to run around and play and stuff. Weird. And I'm like, "No, you're staying with me. And you're not doing anything."
Is she okay now? I mean, how's she right now?
Yes, so so we have her on a cycle of like Motrin and Tylenol every 3 hours. We alternate, and it keeps her temperature down.
Is this the older one or the younger one?
It's the younger one.
Okay. This is
show. Yeah, it's showstopper. So now last night about bedtime, we had given her some. She had got feeling good and wanted to eat food. So if I'm like, you haven't been eating, if you want to eat some food, I'm gonna give you food. And then around bedtime, about an hour or so after she ate, she was like not feeling like, nah, Dad and Daddy, and Cassandra's with her in the bathroom or whatever in the other room. And they're like, I need help. And I'm like, oh my gosh, really? Okay, here I come. And then Lily is like,
you don't have to explain like in detail, but you can tell.
Oh, no, you're going to get it. I got it. You guys are getting it. You guys are getting it. So I go up to see him. I'm like, come here, baby. And I pick her up and I'm holding her, and she's like, and right down, right over me. And then my wife's like, she's throwing up. And I look at her. I'm like, I'm wearing it. I know. I'm aware. And my wife goes into like panic mode of like, what do we do? And I'm like, obviously you
There's
let her
nothing to
puke in the
do now.
toilet.
Yeah, get her to the toilet and
And
clean
I'm
up.
fine. I mean, like, it's gross, but I'm fine with it,
Yeah,
really. I'm
yeah.
like, yeah, no big deal. So
That's what me and JJ were talking about as dads. We've had that. It's not a good feeling. It's not a feeling
Right.
you want to replicate ever, but it has happened to us, and
Just in case
you can clean yourself up. It's not a big
yeah,
deal.
it's wash off, no big deal.
Deacon done that to me. I was telling JJ when Deacon, will be 16 this year, when he was little, Deacon would have when he said, "Daddy, I don't feel good," you had 2 to 3 seconds to do whatever you were doing. Maybe 3. I'm giving him a second there. You didn't
You
have
better,
any at all.
whatever's in your hands, you better put it
You better-
down.
you got 2 seconds to and I learned real quick that's you had 2 seconds. Yeah, that was a lesson learned. That's wisdom right there. Good morning, JJ. Glad that she's
Good
feeling
morning.
better. Glad that you're here. I didn't know I was like Will Ferrell in Talladega Nights. I didn't know what to do with my hands. I was
I
like,
know, right? You got used to it. I've been the same way. I'm
used
like,
to
I
it.
don't want to do this
I don't know what to
show. Come on.
So I know we've got a little bit to talk about because some stuff happened. I want to
Uh-huh.
get to the songs real quick. I don't
Yes.
want to spend a lot of time on the songs, but I do want to highlight some stuff that we added to Deke's
Okay.
playlist because I went ahead and added a song to Deke's playlist yesterday. Let me see how much time I got. Okay, I got enough time. I went ahead and added a song to Deke's playlist yesterday, and I added a song today, and I want to get into them both. If you'll go to our Discord server, you will scroll down, you'll see Deke's playlist. This is where we add music. We're highlighting guitarists this week, so this is why I wanted to talk about it, just because they're not just some random song. Guitarist yesterday is from Texas. I believe he's from Texas, JJ. Junior Brown. Have you ever heard of the country artist?
I have
Junior
not.
Brown?
I
Okay,
have not.
Junior Brown. He actually lives in Texas. I don't know if he's born in Texas, but he lives in Texas. He rarely gets out to play anymore, but he is one of my top 10 favorite guitarists of all time. He plays this very unique guitar called a Get Steel. It's half guitar, half steel guitar. There is a
really?
picture of this guitar on the Deke's playlist. If you'll scroll up, it's a red picture of this thing. It's a Get Steel, half steel guitar, half guitar.
Okay.
Wow. He is a guitar virtuoso. He is so freaking, and he's got this voice that sounds like this right here, and he's got a different kind of voice, you know. He's got a bunch of great songs. That's why I highlighted 3. This Get Steel Blues. If you like blues like Stevie Ray Vaughan, you need to listen to this song because it's freaking awesome. So that's a blues song. Broke Down South of Dallas is a country song that I play on the radio. And then that surf medley at the end is basically like the Ventures and Dick Dale and stuff like that. He's mixed together. If you like that old surf music,
I like the surf medley.
Okay, yeah, and watch him play just how he does his stuff. That's why I added this live so that you could actually watch him play. So Junior Brown yesterday. Today, I'm going to point out someone that you know, JJ, I know for a fact you've heard of this guitarist, but I bet you didn't know he was a guitarist. I bet you've heard of Prince, haven't you?
Oh, come on. Haven't I seen Prince play guitar?
I don't know.
One of his music videos?
Some people don't know that he is an unbelievable guitarist. A lot of guys will stand up there and hold the guitar and they sing and hold the guitar and you think, oh, wow, they're a guitarist. They're playing the rhythm part. They're basically just strumming 3 or 4 chords.
Right.
JJ, I could get you to stand up there and play the rhythm part. All I got to do is all right. But no, Prince doesn't stand up there and play the rhythm. He's an unbelievable guitarist. And this was at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame they were inducting George Harrison into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame from the Beatles.
Right.
And Tom Petty, Jeff Lynne from ELO, I believe Steve Winwood. Yeah, Steve Winwood from like Traffic and Spencer Davis Group. And what other group was he in? He was in another group. And Danny Harrison, who is George Harrison's son. And if you look back, you'll see this kid. He looks just like his dad. But at the end, at the 3-minute and 29-second mark of the song, Prince steps up to do his guitar solo for this song, While My Guitar Gently Weeps, one of the best freaking guitar songs of all time. And it's unbelievable. This really displays how great of a guitar player is. At the end, Prince just throws the guitar into the freaking crowd and walks off stage like I'm the man. And you're like, oh, that was so awesome. I mean, he falls. He's doing a solo at one point, and he falls into the crowd, and the dude pushes him back up like his bodyguard or whatnot.
Oh,
Pushes him
okay.
back up on stage. He just makes it look so effortlessly Prince. This
Now
displays
Prince
how great of a guitarist Prince was, man.
Prince only weighed like
6
104
pounds.
pounds.
Yeah. He was like
So-
3'4".
So even if the audience didn't catch him, he'd be like,
Dude,
you know,
went,
yeah, he would just jump back up.
So
You
there
know,
you
I
go.
remember hearing about Prince's like studio compound or whatever he had, wherever it was, and he had microphones throughout the whole building, so that
Yeah, so
wherever
he
he
could
was at,
record.
he could just stop and record something.
and record everything. Yeah. So there
Yeah,
you go.
in case he had
check out the
ideas.
website. Yeah, it's good
All
stuff.
right.
I don't know what
Cool.
we'll do next week. I don't really
I
want
like
to
that.
highlight. If I highlight vocalists, since we've gone through the instruments, I don't want to be like
Yeah.
the best flute oboe player. You know, I don't
Mm.
want to do that crap. I've thought about highlighting vocalists, but if I do, every person is different with their vocals. And
What about
if I highlight vocalists, I'm going to do unique voices.
people that do that break genre and they come up in country and then they shift over to something else?
Yeah,
and then
I'm cool with that. Like Beck.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm cool.
Yeah,
with that.
what did Beck start with?
Beck started with Loser and like that all 90s
Yeah,
alternative music.
Yes.
And
Oh, and he went to country, didn't he? Did he go to
country, electronica? He's
so
done several.
Some of
different-
those people that are just like do all different styles and stuff.
Yeah.
I like this. This reminds me. This surf medley reminds me of like, I don't know, what does it remind me of?
the
For some
Ventures
reason-
and Dick Dale and one of them Secret
No,
Agent.
it reminds me of like
It
maybe Secret Agent. It kind of reminds me of like a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Yeah. Oh
Maybe-
well, Pulp Fiction had Dick Dale's Miserloo. That
Okay.
that's
Yeah,
Dick
yeah,
Dale.
yeah.
That
That's
song
what it
called
is. That's what it
Miserloo.
is.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, good
All
morning.
right.
All right, we've got a crazy. I'm glad you went with my title of the show this morning.
Yeah, I was like,
only nerds will get this title. this
I
morning.
was like, D threw something up there, and I'm not gonna work to come up with something better, and it's pretty good. It starts good. I like it. So today's episode, ladies and gentlemen, I have no idea what number we're on. I guess we're on like I was thinking about going through our shows the other day, counting them up, and then I was like, oh, I went way back to the back, and it was like 15 pages of shows, and I was like, oh, that was not too good. Oh no. And then I was like, maybe I should just arbitrarily decide we're on 150 and just start counting from like 150.
Yeah, let's
Like,
do
who's gonna check our math? Nobody's
was-
gonna check it.
There was something that I saw the other day that they had it was on the Match Game. It was those old episodes of the Match Game. They were celebrating like the 68th episode, but it was actually the 68th episode after the 74th episode. So it was like the 164th
Right.
episode. So they were
Yeah.
celebrating.
I was thinking like,
I was like, that's
I
pretty
should
good.
yeah, I should just put like your two dads number 150.
117. Woo. What's the
Yeah.
title?
Yeah, right. Today's episode, Life. Today, title 42, Life, the Universe, and Border Crossings. This is
Do you get it? Do you get it? Do you get it?
yes. Everybody, isn't it required reading though? Isn't it still required reading to read those
Hitchhiker's
books?
Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah,
It is to me.
that's what I mean.
I bought them as a Christmas present for my son, my 15-year-old son, and Ashley actually questioned me because I don't do the present buying, and she actually, because she's concerned. This shows Ashley's concern for our son. She goes, "Is buying a book really a good Christmas present?" I was like, "This is for Deacon. Yes, he will love it. He's a little nerd. He will love it."
There was a Christmas or two ago where my wife is always like making the list of like everybody and all the people and the presents for everybody. And I am like, I don't care about this at all. And she's like, well, what should we get them? What should we get so-and-so and so-and-so? And I'm always like, a book.
A book.
A book.
I love books. I love books. I love tangible books. I've got books here. I've got books at home.
We don't know
I'm
what
a
they
book-
like to read. We don't know what they like. I don't care. Books are great.
It's hard for me to listen, and it's hard for me to read off of this. I can listen better than I can read off of this. I've checked out so many books. Anyway,
Okay.
Anyway, that's what we're.
So I'm
the
going to
40
start today's.
Our title today is a joke on Hitchhiker's Guide to
Yeah,
the Galaxy.
yeah.
For those of you that haven't read the book, for those of you that have read the book, you got the joke. So
I wanted to start today's episode with a little clip from from Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas now this is from 2 years ago. But he says he says it was true then, and I imagine it's true now. So let's just start with this here.
The governor say it, and the migrants I spoke to say it. They are coming across because they believe they will be welcomed under the Biden administration. You said yourself 3 weeks ago, we're not saying don't come, we're saying don't come now. President Biden had a stronger message later, but the messages are mixed at best, Mr. Secretary.
Martha, good morning. The message is quite clear. Do not
This is
come.
Mayorkas.
The border is closed. The border is secure. We are expelling families. We are expelling single adults under the CDC's authority, under Title 42 of the United States Code, because we are in the midst of a pandemic, and that is a public health imperative.
Not because, it's our job to keep the country secure. No, it's because COVID. It was because of COVID that we were doing that. No, you weren't. So that was 2 years ago. And in the last 2 years, we've started the show and we've covered migration like a bunch of times. And it's just been like record high, record high, record high, record high.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, last night at midnight, Title 42 came to an end. Title 42 was this policy, Deacon, that said that we could deport migrants if they were based on vaccination status.
Right.
Essentially, like, oh, you're sick, get out of here.
Right.
So now that's gone. And in prelude to that, there were literally nearly 1 million migrants across the United States border lining up and ready to cross, because here's their plan. Their plan is not to cross into America and disappear. No. The plan is cross the border, get into America, and if you got caught, surrender and say, I amnesty. I'm seeking political amnesty for or whatever. And then, do you know what our country does? They don't escort them back to the border and say, I'm sorry, you have to leave. No, they say, okay, here's your packet and your court date. Please show up for your court date. And that packet includes a cell phone and a court date for 2026 or 2027. So, okay, well, we're not making you leave. Here's a free phone, and please come back in 3 years or 4 years. Please come back in 4 years till your court date, which I'm sure they will do. And certainly not start families and fully integrate their lives into our country in the meantime. So here, this is on Breitbart.com. The Department of Homeland Security says, we are relying. The Department of Homeland Security. We are relying on released migrants to come back. And no, we won't say how long we are going to do releases for. So we're going to catch or we're going to release. We're not going to tell you how long for. We're not going to tell you where they're going or how to track them. And our plan is to trust them to come back and show up at court. That's the plan. While speaking to News Nation on Thursday, DHS Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs Marsha Espinosa stated that under the plan for allowing for the release of migrants, if facilities are at capacity, guess what? They're at capacity.
They've been at capacity.
They have not.
Now,
Yes. We are relying on those released to come back in 60 days, but we wouldn't give a timeline for how long the release plan will be in place. Okay.
Thanks.
All right.
Doesn't he? I was looking at your title picture here on the title.
Mayorkas.
Yeah. I went to rumble.com and I was checking the chat, and chatting the check, and I was looking at him. Yeah,
What's up, Dave? Brian. Morning, everybody.
He looks like he could be a creature from Lord of the Rings, like with his ears that come out. He looks like
he missed his profession.
Elven Lord, blah, blah, blah.
Does he look like someone that you would trust? Look
What was
in
that?
those eyes. No.
What was
I don't
that
think
bump?
I would trust him.
That meant somebody joined something. What joined?
I didn't hear a bump. I didn't hear a bump.
I did. That meant something. Hang on.
That's probably Discord.
Oh,
which, by the way, if you guys want to join our Discord, here you go. There you go. Right there. Just scan that QR code. Come talk to us on Discord. Interrupt our show. Spook Deek.
Yeah. You can message me on Discord. You can message us on there, tag us on there, or go to rumble.com. And I always try to remember. We try to remember to pull up the chat. I made a Cheech and Chong joke on rumble.com. I've got some cool stories. If we got more political stories to go through, though, don't we?
Let's see. I'm
really not kind of done with this. What do you think is going to happen with this? I mean, nothing's gonna freaking happen. And once again, this affects you more than it affects me. But
right now, until we start shipping them to Kentucky.
That's what I was going to say. And some of those Ron DeSantis and your guy, Abbott, they started sending them out to places. And what did they look? Oh my God! And then, of course,
if we can't get support to close the border, well, we can share the pain. You guys can.
Hey, and let me tell you, a county over from me is a huge county, and it's 90% farmland in that county.
Yeah.
Okay. And they have an enormous Mexican population over in the next county, to the point that I hate to judge it like this, but we have to judge it like this because I'm a white honky cracker. When I go into that Walmart in the next county, they have 3 whole aisles of authentic Mexican stuff that we don't have in our little half mile here.
Hey, you got to serve your market.
No, now, honestly, I'm not trying to be racist or anything. That's exactly right. And when I go to that Walmart, I get some really cool crap from that Mexican stuff that I can't get anywhere else.
Hey, lovely.
You know? So, I mean, we've got
Let me tell you,
a huge immigrant population here, I bet. Me and Ashley's talked about it before. There is a Mexican restaurant over there that's only open on Friday. It's because it's in a Mexican grocery store, a little Mexican grocery store, and it's a grill in the back. And this is where all the Mexicans go to eat food. They don't go to all these American Mexican restaurants that we go to.
No.
They all go, and this grill is only open on Fridays. So me and Ashley have planned trips to Mayfield to go to this little grocery store grill just to get their authentic Mexican.
Let me tell you, I don't know if this is your experience in Kentucky or not, but if you ever have some lady walking through the neighborhood or a truck on the side of the road selling tamales, pull over and buy those fucking tamales because they're the best fucking tamales you'll ever eat. Dude.
Tamales from a food truck are the best that you'll ever have.
Oh man, those little ladies selling tamales, man, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing, and it's good. It's not all bad. I'm just saying we have no control of our border.
We don't have no control of our border.
I'm totally cool with letting people in.
I am too.
If we have like room and jobs and stuff. I was reading a report the other day that it was on Center for Immigration Studies, which is reported by Google as an anti-immigration website. I don't know if that's true or not, but Center for Immigration Studies is a think tank that's considering the border and immigration and the effects it has on the population and in the United States. And one of the effects that immigration has on the population is that it lowers wages for Americans that have lower education. So people that have a high school diploma or less, or have less education, when migrants come into the country, they go into the lower end of the workforce pool, which means there is a surplus of supply for low and unskilled labor, and that drives wages down. So over from 2016 to 2019, while the wages for most Americans with an education, I say most Americans with a college degree or higher education of some kind, while their wages went up or maintained a little bit, the wages for people with less education declined and dipped, or at most stayed the same. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, and that's just a factual thing that has nothing to do with these people are bad or not bad. It's not all bad, but the effect of completely uncontrolled immigration is that your wages or your cousin's wages or your sister's wages or your mom's wages are less than they could be. Now, is that the overriding decision? No, but it is something to consider.
You're exactly right.
One of many
Brian
things.
says, don't forget, my York ass is allowing illegal migration from Mexico and the rest of the world. But if you're coming from Dominican Republic, he will deport your ass. I don't know anything about that. Do you?
I'm not sure. I know that Honduras is not like they are providing kind of these extended kind of amnesties for El Salvador, Guatemala, several South American countries, but not, I guess, Dominican Republic, and I think not Honduras. In fact, yesterday I was reading a story about El Salvador. Do you remember probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, we did a cover about El Salvador doing these super jails?
Yeah.
Super jails.
Yeah. And
yesterday,
they were making them do all that stuff in the super jail, all those pictures, and it looked horrifying is what it looked like.
So yesterday, Tim Pool retweeted it, so I saw it. It was, I think it's President Basolute or whatever his name is, Bukele, the president of El Salvador. It was in Spanish, so you wouldn't read it anyway. But the tweet was,
I've got the AI. I've got the AI add-ons right up here at the top, baby, and that was one of the main reasons that I added the AI add-ons. You can add Chat GPT and the other one. What's this one? This one is Chat GPT sidebar and Open AI. Well, no, I don't know what that one is, but I've got two. And all I got to do is hit this, go to a different website.
Translation. Right.
And I mean, you can do it anyway, but that one's better.
Okay.
This one's been better.
I was like, what are you talking about? Okay, so President Bukele of El Salvador posted on Twitter that they celebrated 365 days of no homicides in El Salvador. Wow. El Salvador was right at the top of the list of most dangerous, most violent countries in the world that are not a war zone. And over the last 4 years, now it's not 365 days in a row, but over the last 4 years, so out of the last 1,460 days or so, there have been 365 days in his tenure as president that they have had no homicides, because El Salvador is cracking down on cartels and criminal activity. They are packing them in like sardines, and they're like, fuck these violent motherfuckers. These murderers that are going around killing people and gang activity and all of this shit, stuff them in a can, whatever. Like, letting them run the street hasn't worked. So, and it is bringing crime down there. And so to go from one of the most violent non-war countries in the world to having 365 days. I mean, like, America has not had 365 days of no homicides in the last 50 years. You know,
longer than that.
Yeah. So, okay. Anyway, I don't know. We're meandering down South America, just wandering down South American politics. All right. So, people are coming across the border. I'm going to show this one more thing, and then we can get off of this. Okay. This is from Revolver.com. Here is the DHS welcome packet. Literally, here are lines of people lined up at the border waiting to get processed. They got in, they got caught, and now they're just waiting to get, released. And here's what they get. Here's a little video. They get a packet, a cell phone, and a piece of paper that says, and you can see all these guys are directions or whatever. This is a video posted on the Post Millennial. Okay, so they're getting free cell phones, and then here's an image of the paperwork. Let's see if we can get this up. Image of the paperwork. Multiple migrants appear on May 26th, 2027. 2027. Appear on May 6th, 2027. No, it's not a joke. It's literal. This is pre-printed paperwork. Appear on April 27th, 2026. So that's our government in action, folks. We may not be able to do much, but we can print paperwork and hand out cell phones. But they're probably bad cell phones. They're probably not useful, right?
Nah, they're not a Samsung. It's that Google shit that Brian Perkins has.
Yeah. They walk around with it in your pocket and the screen breaks.
Brian, if that's not a sign smacking upside the face, dude. My Samsung S21, I think I had the S. This is the S22. I had the
really?
S20 before this. I've had this phone for years. The other one I had for a couple of years. man,
You were doing
this
like an
sucker-
86 for a while or something like that, weren't you?
man, yeah, I'm not hard on a phone, man.
I still have my Samsung S10. That's what I'm running.
Here, I got to talk real quick.
Yeah, he's got to go. All right, let's talk about something else. What do you guys want to talk about? Hey, David, Brian, what's up, guys? Wobbly, welcome back to the show. Let's see. We got AI. We got Wendy's. Oh, here's a Daily Wire story about Title 42. Oh, what is this? Oh, this is something I like. Okay, we'll do this. Federal judge strikes down the minimum age for 21 on handgun purchases. From justthenews.com. The judge contended that the government had not shown any evidence of age-based restrictions on purchase of sales of firearms from the colonial era founding or the early republic. A federal judge, I don't know how to stop these videos. Stop. A federal judge in Virginia has struck down a law barring the sale of handguns to adults under the age of 21 as unconstitutional. This is good. I mean, like, you have, I wonder at what age do you think your rights begin at? What age do you think that your right to free speech begins at? What age do you think that your right to freedom of religion begins at? What age do you think that your right to freedom of the press begins at? Like, when does your rights start in the United States? Yeah.
And that's a good question, isn't it?
I mean, like, for instance, if you were 17 years old and were allowed to work at a radio station, I mean, was that being within your rights? If you're 16 years old and you want to write a book and somebody will buy it, and that book is an expression of your free speech, isn't that within your constitutional rights? If you were 16 years old and you wanted to, I mean, purchase a firearm. In some states, it's legal. In some states, it's not, but maybe that illegality is, while it is against the Constitution, it might be within the will of the people living in that state, which means that nobody's going to push back on it. But here in Virginia, somebody tried to push a law that prohibited people under the age of 21 from purchasing a firearm. 21. Do your rights begin at the age 21? When do your rights begin?
Yeah, why do we just decide that 21's the number? Because I can tell you this, as a fixing to be 46-year-old man, at 21 years old, I didn't know dick.
Nope.
I didn't need to be making any decisions. About anything.
No. You needed to be somebody to tell you what to do, and you do what they tell you until you figure things out. That's honestly, reality.
There's only a few people that are like that know what to do at 21 years old.
I mean, those are exceptional people.
And those exceptional people are boring. Those people are boring. 21 years old. We had this conversation not too long ago. I think me and my daughter is about the age of 18. And I was telling her, I was like, you will realize in 20 years that at 18 years old right now, when you think you know everything, because we got into
I read this book.
Hang on just a second.
Yeah,
you read that book? When did you read that book?
When Manila was here, I read it to her.
Is she in sleep right now?
No.
What are you doing?
I was trying to read this book.
I bet you could probably read it better if you were ready for school, if you were dressed in your uniform, rather than in your unicorn pajamas. My daughter. Hold on.
So
this is a. Where are you going? I'm about to brag about you. Hey, close that door. She's reading. She's 5. She's reading.
Awesome.
Like,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
She is so well spoken. You can tell that she is reading because how she speaks to you right there. You can only hear her voice right there, but she is so well spoken.
She was
very articulate in her words that she says.
Yeah.
As somebody who speaks for a living for 30 years, I recognize that kind of stuff. And as a 5-year-old, she is a very articulate in her words.
You know, there's
She
some
opens
people that have kids that don't speak until like they don't even start to speak. They're nonverbal.
Yeah, I know
right?
some that are her age that are 5 years old that
And
they are still baby talking.
everybody kind of I know everybody is, like thinks that their kid's the smartest or whatever. Okay, it's not that. She's studious. She, you know, like, well, her sister is like wanting to run around and play with stuff. Like my oldest daughter will be like, go grab a book and sit in a chair by herself, and we'll just like practice reading, practice looking at pictures, going through stories, play by herself. My kids are adopted. For the people that are watching that don't know, my kids are adopted. My kids are they're adopted, but for whatever reason,
They're real sisters.
they're real sisters.
They're real sisters.
My
Blood
oldest
sisters.
daughter has my personality more or less, or a lot of my traits, right?
Mhm.
So introverted, just interested in things,
Her
and like
environment is a
read,
lot.
and don't need a lot of people around you to just be fine. And my youngest daughter is basically like a
Your wife.
clone of my wife. Constantly needs to be talking, like doesn't ever stop talking, like not ever.
Great. That's great.
So
She's great.
so, yeah.
Your kids are cute. That's why I love when they come in and they interrupt the show. That's great.
Yeah.
The
I
show
love
is
it too.
called Your Two Dads.
that's the best part.
Okay. That's the best part is when we're trying to make a discussion and the kids stop us and we're like, dang it, I forgot what we were talking about.
Yeah, it's fun. So what we were talking about was when do your rights start? I don't know when
Yeah.
your rights start, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I would like, do your rights start at birth? Do you have the right starting at birth? And which rights do you have? I don't know.
You know, it depends on where you are. Where are you being born at, JJ?
I mean,
because you don't have all the rights in some places that you do here.
Democrats want your right to vote to start when you're 16 because
Hell,
you've
Democrats want
obviously
your right to vote when you're
Oh.
6 months old.
Yeah, I'm sure they would be happy with you to be able to vote at the age of 10
3?
as soon as you can hold a
She
pencil.
going into kindergarten? Okay, here's your kindergarten
Yeah.
forms and your voter registration
Right.
card.
Right. So I don't know. I mean, we can't say that people don't have rights. They obviously have rights. Anyway, I just think this is interesting. It's something to think about. Like, what are you comfortable with in terms of like
30
to vote?
to vote.
To vote.
30. You got to be 30 to vote. And you got to pass a 15-question quiz before we'll allow you to vote.
Yeah.
And it's just
Yeah,
simple
look,
questions on the people that
I
you're
mean,
voting.
we obviously
Oh, yeah.
want to have as many people as possible to vote and participate in policy making and decision making that have as little knowledge as possible. That's the best thing for our country. So people that barely understand how voting works,
People that don't speak English, they don't
yeah.
know anything about
Yeah.
our political system, because I can't tell you what the fuck goes on in Canada because I don't care, you know. So they don't care. And we need people that did I mention that can't speak English? They're not from
Yeah.
this country. They don't know how, and they don't have any care about our political system.
Right.
Dead people. We can include people that don't breathe anymore in that.
I mean, you don't
They can
want
vote
to
too.
you don't want to like delegitimize the prior living.
You would be age
So and,
discrimination.
that'd be life discrimination.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So
Micro
at 21 years
discrimination.
old, I can tell you this much. At 21 years old, you can drive, you can drink, you can fight and die for your country. You can vote for sure.
18. Okay, 18.
Right.
I've always said that if you had a military ID, you should be able to drink at 18. If you had your military ID, because by God, if those guys and girls are going over to give their life on the line over there,
Yeah.
in this 20-year fucking stupid war that
Right.
we've been in, then they should be able to have a fucking beer when they want to.
So
Period.
I'll tell you something about the Army anyway. The law in the United States is that you have to be 21 years or older to drink, except in Louisiana. In Louisiana, for a while, it was 18 or whatever. But I think they may have updated it or whatever. But in the Army says whatever the law of the host country that you're deployed in, that's the law. So in Korea, it was 20. And if you're in some countries where it's 18
or 16 or 18, yeah, okay. Yeah.
And let me tell you, men and women in the Army, and probably the other branches of the military, they do not wait until they are 21 to drink alcohol, whether it's loud or not.
Dude, let me show you what I did. I hung out with a couple. Our managers of our pizza place when I was 18, 19 was these 23, 24-year-olds. And we would always go out to the restaurants. I'm not even going to say the name of the restaurants, but we would go out to the restaurants. And I had shaved my head bald back then, but I had my goatee that's like in these pictures. You know, when I have my
yeah.
It's hanging, it's down, and I had
your beatnik look, right?
Yeah, the Van Dyke, my beatnik look. So that's pretty good. I like that, the beatnik look. Yeah, whoa, man.
I married an axe murderer.
Yeah. So I would wait until my 24-year-old friend would say, "Give me a Miller Lite," and I would go, "Same." And I was like 18, 19, and I'd get away with it every time because I looked older. I shaved my head.
That's funny.
Don't do that. That's wrong.
Let's table this consideration of guns for a while and talk about some other stuff.
I want to read one thing before we go to something different. Wobbly Bits comment on this. Wobbly Bits over on our Rumble channel. Please follow us on Rumble and like and subscribe. And hey, all you people watching right now, I don't see any thumbs up, but I see a bunch of people watching. Because the other day we had a confirmation on a certain number of people watching, and that number did not equal our like number. And me and JJ had a conversation about that.
We were like, it seemed like there were like 10, 12 people in but they can't find the thumbs up button.
But y'all gotta hit that like button. Anyway, Wobbly Bit said right should start when you pay taxes, at least a good starting point. What do you think about that?
I mean, I don't really want to pay taxes, so I definitely don't want to hook my rights up to pay taxes. But that's not bad. There's a book. What is it? It's about Space Marines by I think Heinlein or whatever. There was a movie. Oh shoot, I can't remember. But basically the premise was you get to be a citizen. You get to partake in your citizenship after military service. What do you think about military service as a prerequisite for voting? Prior service in any way. It's a buy-in of some kind.
My only thing with that has always been, and I haven't changed on this. I still believe this. The President of the United States is technically the highest ranking military official, correct?
That is right.
I think one of the fucking requirements should be that you have to have been in the military at least 2 years. At least 2 years. Or maybe at the least 4 years in the military. As a requirement to be the President of the United States of America, who is technically the highest ranking military official, I think that you should have to be in the military. So, you have to have mandatory time in the military. About the voting question that you asked. No,
right.
We're American citizens. American citizens. That's our.
Well, there used to be a land ownership, and the land ownership requirement was
anymore. Women and black people used to not be able to vote too. We've changed all that crap. Sure. We've evolved. We're a more civilized.
That was a buy-in. That was if by owning land in an area, then you had a literal investment in the policy being good.
In today's market, there is no way that a majority of the people could ever own a piece of land. I am a poor person. By most standards, I am a lot poorer than you, and I own a piece of land, and that is because of the place that I live. Okay, a lot of people I consider myself privileged, and I don't make nearly as much money as the people that live in like New York, and they don't own but like a little 400 square foot apartment. Dude, my living room is 600 square feet.
Yeah. I saw an ad for oh my gosh, let me pull it up. There's a new tower in New York, and it looks like something out of the Lord of the Rings. It looks like an evil tower of Sauron.
Some of those little bitty apartments. My house is like 2,200 square foot upstairs and downstairs.
Let's see if I can get this up. It's New Brooklyn. I'm sorry, the New Brooklyn Tower.
And I have to mandatory do this every time I start talking about real estate. If you're looking to buy real estate in Kentucky, please DM me. My wife is a real estate agent, and she would kill me if I don't say that.
Check this out. This is in New York. Look at this. This is a new tower. This is called the New Brooklyn Tower. And it's supposed to be designed with like this Art Deco stuff, but it happens to look like an evil. Look at it. It looks like, and look, even in the picture, they're like, look, this is what Sauron's.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is called the New Brooklyn Tower, and the residents around it are like, what is this evil thing?
Residents around it are being morphed into orcs.
They look. Trump ought to buy it and put Trump across the top of it.
Has anybody checked at the top to see if Gandalf is stuck up there?
Yeah, he might be up there. What's that other gray wizard dude?
Saruman.
Saruman.
He was the white.
All right.
They were all different colors.
Let's talk about what vegans prefer, Deacon. We've been talking a while about what you and I prefer, but what do vegans prefer?
Okay, that was a good try.
We're running out of time.
That was a good try.
Hey,
yeah.
I'm
oh
sick.
yeah, God, we are running out of time. Oh, okay. I wanted to talk about AI.
Yeah. Okay. Talk about AI.
We'll talk about this and then we can go into what vegans prefer.
All right.
We were talking about AI earlier. I use AI for a lot of stuff. Wendy's, pretty soon, when you pull up to Wendy's in your area, you may be talking to an AI chatbot. Okay, I always try to scroll on the wrong page. Wendy's will begin testing an AI-powered chatbot next month that will talk to customers and take drive-through orders, becoming the latest fast food chain to employ the technology. The system powered by Google's. Brian, did you hear that? This one's powered by the same people that make your telephone.
Brian.
Google. Brian,
your phone sucks.
Google's cloud AI software will be as natural as talking to an employee and has the ability to understand speech and answer frequently asked questions, the company said. Wendy's is one of several restaurants incorporating AI into automation service, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So they say that this AI will be able to differentiate between how you order things. And I'm really wondering that. It says the chatbot will have a female voice and will be able to understand requested items that aren't phrased exactly as they appear on the menu. It will know that a large milkshake corresponds to the chain's large Frosty. Okay. Well, I'm a pretty picky eater when it comes to fast food stuff. So I'm wondering,
okay.
And I have a lot of people down here in some people with Southern draws, don't you? You know some people that actually talk so bad in a Southern drawl that you think it's put on, and it's not. Like, I know people around here, JJ, that talk just like this right here, and this is their real voice that they always talk in every day. And I'm not making that up. So how is this AI? I have trouble with speech to text because of my Southern accent. Because of the way that we are lazy in a lot of our words in the South, we will draw out a lot of our words, like we won't say the T's and the P's, and whatnot. So I have trouble with speech to text. You can tell when Ashley makes fun of me because I'm like, will you go to the store and pick up a loaf of bread? Because it don't pick up my speech. So I'm wondering how well this AI is going to do on that.
I mean, that's just a matter of getting trained, isn't it? Isn't it
True.
Interesting how we pick up from people around us, however they talk is kind of, it bleeds into you and how you talk,
Yeah.
So I think so. So, that Wendy's AI may not. Yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say, if you hear me, if I go on the air on my country station, that you would laugh at how I say stuff.
I mean, look,
I have a different persona when I go on the air.
That's what people want to hear.
Yeah, I have just a little bit more country in my voice. I don't get all country, but I have just a little bit more country in my voice.
You got to be relatable.
Yeah,
that's why you're successful. All right, so it may not just be chat AI, or maybe the chat AI gets dumped into this thing. But have you seen this? Where's the button? Go button.
Go button.
New York City's first coffee shop run by a robot barista
Is that
coming
the
to
robot?
Brooklyn.
Because that looks like Dylan Mulvaney.
Yeah. That's a.
Is it the
You notice
robot? Because it looks like
Where's
Dylan
that?
Mulvaney.
Whatever.
I'm
yeah,
not-
I know. No,
I wasn't
this
trying to
is the
make a
robot.
joke.
This is
Oh.
this is the real robot. It's a robot barista, and it's got these arms. And okay, so the New York City's first coffee shop run by a robot barista is coming to Brooklyn. It's got 2 arms at Bot Bar in Greenpoint, and will have a creepy dystopian skill set that includes dancing, waving, and churning out up to 50 espresso drinks an hour. How long does it take to make an espresso drink? Apparently, it takes over a minute. When the shop opens in 2 weeks, humans can be unpredictable. Let the robot make your coffee. That's right. Let's put these baristas out of work. We don't need baristas. I mean, my coffee's been coming out of a machine for like years.
No kidding. This is actually my coffee always comes out of a machine.
Yeah. No, you may not. New York Post, you may not send me notifications. Look at him. I'm job, right? Of course you are. Somebody's got to clean up the spill. That robot's not going to get a mop and clean that mess up. That's your job,
No,
buddy.
they got Roombas. Remember Roombas? And remember on Fifth Element?
Oh yeah.
Remember on Fifth Element, he knocks over the thing, and they had all the little robots that would come. Chaos
Fifth
brings
Element is
life.
such a good
Remember, that's
movie.
what he says. Chaos brings life. Hey, since we're
Fifth
talking
Element
about
is one of the
AI
best movies ever.
ever made,
Yeah.
Fifth Element is one of the best movies ever created. They do not ever need to duplicate it, and they
Yeah.
do not ever need to add a part
My
two.
favorite
That movie is fine just the way
my
it is.
favorite scene is Bruce Willis looking out the window as he just got like a letter or something from the general or whatever, and he's like standing at the window. And somebody whops him on the back of the head, like sneaks up behind him and hits him on the back of the head with a bottle. And Bruce Willis is like knockout scene is like, and it falls so funny.
I love
right.
all that movie, but the part that cracks me up every single time is when Ruby Rock, Chris Tucker, he's going through his radio thing, blah, 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 and he gives it to him, and Bruce Willis is like, yeah. And he says one, cracks me up every time. All right, so talking about AI, I got one more little AI story here. Nikola Tesla resurfaced writings from Nikola Tesla. I always say Nicholas. Have said that he basically eerily predicted AI. Century-old writings by American inventor Nikola Tesla seems to predict the development of artificial intelligence. I propose to show that, however impossible it may now seem, an automation may be contrived which will have its own mind, Tesla wrote in June of 1900. And by this, I mean that it will be able, independent of any operator, left entirely to itself, to perform, in response to external influences affecting its sensitive organs, a great variety of acts and operations as if it had intelligence. Dude, what the hell?
He predicted AI.
He predicted AI in 1900, 123 years ago. Nikola Tesla was I've been researching a lot of his stuff was suppressed because of capitalism, because of making money. I hate to say that it's capitalism, but that's what it is.
Well, he was a contemporary of Edison, right? And Edison had a thing about sort of like taking stuff and patenting it.
Yeah. See, it goes on because what it even said something here. Right here, Tesla, born in the Austrian Empire in 1856, before he moved to the U.S. in his late 20s in the 1870s. He moved to the U.S. right after the Civil War, and this would be during the Wild West, out during the West. All right, so he's famed for his inventions such as hydroelectric power, the Tesla coil, and his work on developing a radio. Okay, so this right here, you probably don't know this at all. So, do you know who invented the radio? Who is credited for inventing the radio? A man named Marconi. An Italian named Marconi is credited for inventing the radio.
Oh, yeah.
People in my area of Western Kentucky, we will argue with you. The real person that invented the radio was a man named Nathan B. Stubblefield. And you can look this up on Wikipedia. Wikipedia has an entry, but the entry is, of course, incorrect because people don't want to believe this. A local story that's passed down because the Stubblefields still live in our area, his descendants. This man, Nathan B. Stubblefield, had invented the radio over here. Marconi and others came to visit him, to study with him, and everyone tried to convince him to patent this new invention, and he didn't want to. He didn't want to patent it.
Right.
So Marconi came over, studied with him, went back to Italy, patented the radio. He's the inventor of the radio. So he's gone down in the history books as the inventor of the radio, but only people in my area know this story that's been passed along. Now, whether you want to believe this old fabled story that come from a family to try to make themselves look good, it could be completely false. It could be true. But we all around here try to pass on this story that Nathan B. Stubblefield is the real inventor of radio, and he's from Murray, Kentucky.
That shows the importance of filling out your paperwork, guys. Whoever fills out the paperwork first wins.
You're exactly right, man. You're exactly right.
That is not a joke. It's very serious. Oh, wow. Hey, there's 25 people watching right now, and yet somehow 24 of them haven't pushed the like button.
We don't care about that. All right, I think I got one more story. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, let me talk about these vegans. Bro.
That's the story I was wanting to bring up.
A vegan letter. A vegan wrote a letter to his neighbor asking him to close the window when he cooks meat. And there's a photo of the letter here. Let me pull it up here. On behalf of vegan family members, a Burns Beach resident has written a letter to his neighbor asking that they close their window when cooking their sickening meat. Here's the letter. Please take serious. Important message. Hello, neighbor. Could you please shut your side window when cooking? My family are vegan. We eat only plant-based foods. And the smell of the meat you cook makes us feel sick and upset. We would appreciate your understanding. Thanks. Deacon, I'm gonna go out on a limb and assume I'm gonna assume that you can speak on behalf of the recipient of this letter, that as though you had been delivered a letter to you. What would your response to this celery eating plant-based neighbor be?
Dear neighbor, thank you for your kind letter. Fuck off. Love, Deacon. Dude, I eat my steaks. When they ask, how do you want it cooked? I don't do this all the time now that I'm older, but I used to eat it this way every single time. I would say to the waiter, as rare as can legally be cooked, because I used to work in a kitchen for a while, and legally you have to cook the meat to a particular temperature. Okay. So I wanted the meat as rare as can legally be cooked. I have grossed out people before because they're like, oh my God. I'm like, what? You're not eating it. It's me. So don't look at my plate. If that grosses you out, don't look at my plate. Don't watch me eat it. It's as simple as that.
I think my response would be to just have a delivery to their house. I would just send an Amazon thing to their house.
The one dude
here's
the one dude in Australia or somewhere that they did this. Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
For only $20, you can get them 150 pieces of nose plugs.
Dude. The one dude in Australia or whatnot had this same problem. So what he did was he invited a neighborhood barbecue at his house like every freaking weekend or something. And he and these neighbors got together and they buy all this food and they give it away to people for free in the neighborhood. They cook it and have like a neighborhood barbecue of all this free food for people that come and enjoy it. And they've made a huge freaking deal about it because their neighbors were throwing such a fucking vegan fit over it. I don't, closed window.
Well, double and triple.
If you're cooking something, it's you know what? I don't have an opinion on this. I would not do anything. I wouldn't send them a letter.
I'm so glad that they get to eat vegan and they're happy to do that. But Sorry,
I'm not changing
air's
the
air.
way yeah. All right, sorry. Join.
Nobody's complaining about your patchouli, you know, except Cindy.
Join our Discord server and send in some dad jokes for JJ. We have yet to make a dad joke topic category, but we will.
Yeah,
and so that you can leave your dad jokes in there for JJ, so that he'll always have a dad joke. And hit the like button, because I look at this over the weekend, like Saturday night, Sunday night, and I'm laying in bed, you know, and I'm weeping silently to myself. I look at our numbers, and when I don't see that many likes, it hurts just a little bit. You know, it really does. I'm not gonna lie. I'm being truthful with you right now. It does. It hurts. So if you to see that number, it gives me just a little bit of hope. It makes me, you know, not weep as hard into my pillow every night. So could you please like us?
Please
like me. JJ, a telescope here. You might not know this, but here at the radio station, I'm by myself in this building all day long, right? 5-6 days a week, I'm by myself all day long. A telescope has turned up here at our Lost and Found at work. Yeah.
Oh,
we don't know who it belongs to, but we're looking into it. Thank you.
All right. Deke, you know, in honor of your musicians this week, guitars, do you know the difference between a guitar and a fish?
No.
Well, you can tune a guitar, but you can't tune a fish.
Ba-doom. I like that one for some reason.
No,
that one was terrible. That one was
not
terrible.
good.
And good
I feel like yours is better.
I got another one here. What was the other one that I got?
Yeah, let's do it. Fridays we get 2.
On Fridays we get take 2. Okay, hang on. If I've actually got another one. Crap. All right. Since we did a telescope, I've got someone. Whoever stole my microscope, I want you to take a close look at what you've done.
First one was better. You know, Americans, we could switch from pounds to kilograms at any time. Do you know that? Everybody else in the world does kilograms. They do this metric system. Americans were like, fuck you guys. Royal stuff, old stuff. Americans could switch from pounds to kilograms at any time, but it would cause mass confusion.
Hey, do you know why we use pounds and not kilograms and whatnot? It's because of pirates back in the 1700s. Look that shit up. It is a crazy freaking story. It's a crazy story why America is not on the metric system. It's because of pirates. Read the story. It's really interesting. Bye.
All right. I'll do that.